Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's nice.
currently 1-1. We're on Belshire
Yeah,
versus
actually,
deciding
Elfi
game.
showed some really impressive game last game, where the game that we couldn't cast unfortunately, but really strong macro play, defending versus everything, and it turned into some crazy base trade when Stardust had only DTs basically, but Elfi got that observer out and managed to clean everything up.
Yeah, it was just really solid play all around there. And
Someone is lagging.
yeah, it wasn't me. I saw that like a name popped up, but the name popped up for like such a small period of
Yeah,
time. I
I didn't
couldn't.
get to see. I got a glimpse of it, but I have no idea who it was. Either way, we are not lagging, hopefully.
There's so
And
many people obsing this game too.
yeah, that too.
But yeah, that last game was actually really, really crazy between these two, the DTs, and I didn't think that Elfi could really lose that game. But you know, there's some crazy things that can happen when you've got proc, you got hidden bases and dark shrines going on.
Yeah, and I actually feel like watching those two games between those two players, I feel like Elfi is a stronger one in PvP. He just kind of wasted the first game. The second game was just, yeah, it just was his game.
Yeah, that's a good point. Despite losing the first game, he still actually played really well in the beginning. It was just kind of like you said. It was kind of like he threw it a little bit. He definitely had a chance to win it, but we'll have to see. This gateway positioning is always interesting. I always think it's weird when Protoss players in PvP put it behind their mineral line. Like
It always almost feels like they want to hide it, but why would they want to hide the first gateway?
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing strange going on. Both of them are actually they're mirroring each other as much as it's as possible, I guess. Both of them taking that second gas. Let's see how many probes they will put into the geysers. Stardust has 5 probes in gas at the moment, and Elfi is at 5 too, 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, both of them filling up those geysers right now, making that cybernetic score. So nothing strange going on. We see a scout going out for Elfi, so it seems like he prefers to go for that earlier scout just to make sure that he doesn't die to something crazy. He wants to know for sure what's going on as soon as possible, it seems.
Yeah. Stardust is actually choosing to get a zealot. So you could just go for like a zealot mothership core opener into really any kind of tech, maybe a Stargate or something along those lines, and he will let zealot finish. So there's the warp gate starting up here, but it looks like Elfi is going to open up with a straight stalker and a mothership core. So we already have a little bit of variance between these two players' builds. The only thing we haven't seen, of course, yet is what tech choice they want to go for. I think Stardust wants to get rid of this probe before he builds anything.
Yeah, so as soon as that probes goes out of the base, we will probably see him put down some tech behind the mineral line. So we just have to wait and see. So there is going to be a Twilight. Not sure yet. It's possible that it's going to be Blink, actually, because he's queuing up another Stalker. Already one Stalker out, so we might see 3-gate Blink here from Elfi.
I like it. Blink is almost never really bad to have in PvP because if you can out-control your opponent, Blink gives you the most ability to punish them with it. And Blink also deals fairly well with other builds, but we actually have Stardust doing, once again, this 3 gateway opener. Very fast 3 gates, and this could just be another, blow your door down type of build. I feel that the Blink play is weak against this in the very early phases because there's no sentries. But I think once Elfi actually gets his Blink... Oh, he's going to go Dark Shrine.
Oh, it's going to be DTs. Wow, I was so tricked there by him making so many Stalkers, so I thought that or so many, but he's making three Stalkers. But yeah, it's going to be DTs here, and there will be no detection from Stardust for quite some time. He's not going for that Robo, and he's not going for that Stargate, only making gateways, and... Elfi will be able to survive here due to that photon overshot for quite some time, so I think that he will get enough units out even if Stardust would choose to commit here.
Yeah, and you made a great point though. The units that he chose to build, oftentimes we see players open up with the Zealot and a Sentry when they want to go for Dark Shrine so that they can defend attacks like this, but... Ooh, Stardust, that Mothership
Core!
Oh, I did not think he'd get it.
Mothership Core. Really big win there for Elfi, and he will be able to pick up off this pylon here from Stardust, so Stardust cannot do anything else from now. He is building that Robo though, so he will get those that Observer out in time. Elfi tried to get a pylon building in the main base of Stardust, not gonna work out though, and he has another pylon out. Let's see if he's trying to warp in some DTs there.
There's one Dark Templar, and he's going to try to get to the ramp. The robotics facility isn't done just yet. It's about to finish, but you know those units on the ramp, there's no way you can get through there. And he doesn't have enough DTs to actually deny this Nexus either.
He got a probe kill. We'll probably try to hit that Nexus or try to force some more force fields from those sentries to lower the energy as much as possible. But the Observer is now out from Stardust, and Elfi will not be able to do anything else with those DTs.
Yeah, so not really able to do much with the DT play at all. He's going to go up towards that south tower. He can at least hold on to that, but no, he's just going to run home. He's taking his own in Nexus as well, so he's not going to try to commit to any type of one-base play, but he can smoothly transition into Blink out of this, and he also has that Forge coming in once again.
Yeah, so Forge coming up here from Elfi. I think it's really good to get that upgrade lead out in this matchup. We see that Stardust, he is going for the second Observer. He really wants to make sure that he can move out and still have detection at home. So good choice by him, especially when playing versus DT. So let's see if he's going to try to make Colossus after this or what his plan is. Elfi is starting to make those Immortals. Immortals coming out here from Stardust too.
Yeah, Immortals are just good to have for that defensive setup. They deal so well against the Stalkers. You know, they have the hardened shields that make them really, really sturdy, and they can also kind of power through when you go on the attack against the Photon Overcharge, since you know, the hardened shields will deflect those as well. And you know what? Elfi's getting that +1 attack, and I believe it was Stardust that went for the +1 attack in the first game here. So Elfi's really keeping in mind how much that upgrade advantage helped Stardust versus him.
And Stardust also picked up the Observer from Elfi, but Elfi got to see everything that he needed to see, so he knows what's going on in Stardust base. Both of them took the geysers in the natural at the same time. We have Robotics Bay coming down here from our European players, so we will see Colossus coming out very soon, actually from both players. Nothing surprising there, just standard PvP. You want to get those Colossus out as soon as you can.
Yeah, they're so good. It's so good to really have them. They deal with the gateway units spectacularly. The splash damage itself, even if the Immortals don't take the full damage, you know, it's just a great way to help whittle those shields down. And it also deals with Zealots that tank, you know, very effectively. So Colossi is almost never bad to have, unless you scout your opponent going for fast Colossi and you do something like a Stargate opener, because, of course, then you can just try to counter it by going into Tempest.
Yeah. And we also see, is it the second No, okay. So Stardust is also starting his upgrades. Finally got that Forge up and running, but the +1 is almost done for Elfi by now.
Another important thing to note, Elfi is getting his Colossus range this time, so I feel like this game is very similar to what we saw in Game 1, except, you know, save the DT opener. But since the DTs didn't really do anything, it feels even, you know, it still feels very much like that first game. And I have to say that Elfi's fixed a lot of his mistakes. He has that +1 attack, he has the Colossus range coming in, and he's not going to get caught with his pants down like he was before.
But look at the supply. I don't really understand what happened. How can Stardust be almost, or actually 20 supply up here on Elfi? I feel like Elfi has been doing a good job. So, wow, good macro by Stardust, I guess.
Yeah, Stardust has managed to crank out a lot more Zealots, eating up a pretty decent amount of supply. He's got about 10 supply more Zealots. He has an extra Sentry, a couple more Stalkers. He has a little bit more, but it's not really enough. You know, it's not like those are the game-changing units. As far as you know, the supply that really matters, he does have an extra Immortal, which is very nice. But as far as the tech goes, we have 2 Colossi out now for Elfi, so those extra Zealots won't do quite as much with the extra Colossus. It's a bit of an interesting dance, but in the end, it will come down to the micro. And as we can see here, that supply gap becomes less significant as both players' supply increase.
Yeah, and Elfi is not starting that +2, which is very surprising to me. He has the Twilight, he could start it, and he's kind of wasting the upgrade lead, I would say, because he had the possibility to start it for like 40 seconds or something, and now they will be even in upgrades, so he didn't get anything for starting that earlier upgrade. Yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense, is that he had such an early Twilight Council. Why not try to get an advantage from it? But he's cranked out a few Archons. Archons are incredible tanking units. They wreck Zealots, they don't take bonus damage from Immortals, and they have so many shields that the Colossi take a long time to kill them off. So I do like Elfi's army composition quite a bit. He's warping in more Dark Templar to get those Archons, and he might even just leave 1 or 2 DTs trickled in his army if he can pick off the Observer or something like that. But actually, I'm kind of wondering where the Observers are right now for Stardust. He only has 1, and it's pretty close to his army, so he shouldn't take any damage from anything like a mixed-in DT. And it is just Archons for Elfi, but this is going to be a tough engagement to make work. He needs to be very, very
Yeah, it's
careful.
going to be really tough for Elfi to pull this off, especially with that Photon Overcharge too. Stardust can just go back to his Nexus, start that Photon Overcharge, and he will be kind of protected for 1 minute. And he also has the bigger army right now, so it will be tough for Elfi to pull this off. A really nice time warp though from Elfi.
Yeah, really nice. It's important to consider that the Colossi can kind of use their range here, but also there's so many Zealots for Stardust. These Archons should just wreck them. He does need to be careful though. The Time Warp gets thrown on top of his army, but that also means there's no second Photon Overcharge, so he can just wait this out now. But no, he wants to go in for it, it looks like. I don't know how much I agree with this, but the Colossi for Elfi are getting in a lot of shots, and the Zealot's not able to reach. Stardust pulling his probes, trying to shove Elfi back. Stardust still maintains that supply lead. And of course he has the rally point there, but there's a lot. I still feel like there's so many Zealots here. These couple Archons that are left could still wreck those. This engagement can still go either way. Supply very, very close between these two players.
More Archons, more Zealots coming in here for Elfi, and I think that Elfi got like the best fight possible. He got that really good time warp of making it harder for Stardust to take a good engagement, and he couldn't really use that Photon Overcharge as well as he wanted to. Now Elfi is coming in here again, and he is behind in supply, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of laser beams flying around here. The Archons doing what they can against the Zealots. I feel like the spread for Stardust is really good versus Elfi, but that supply is still oh so close. The Archons are doing their thing. The Immortals not able to get any shots off on the Colossi of each other. The probes being pulled once again. A Colossus coming in from the left side. I still think this is Stardust's fight to win. His concave was just so good. The splash damage for Elfi did basically nothing.
Yeah. Good point there, and now looking at the supply, it's 70 supply for Elfi versus 100 from Stardust. Elfi didn't really do anything behind this, didn't start those upgrades, he still didn't start that +2 actually. +2 is coming down from Stardust though, so this was more or less an all-in from Elfi. He really had to do something there, and he didn't manage to, so it looks like Stardust has put himself in a good position here and a good lead.
Yeah, he's in a fantastic position.
Oh, but there is a DT killing up so much stuff here from Elfi in the mineral line, and actually forcing so many probes off of mining for quite some time there.
Yeah, a nice little play, trying to use counterattacks to try to buy his way back into the game, because really, if a big push comes from Stardust, there's no way he can hold it in his current state. He does have 3 Colossi, he has a couple of Archons, but his opponent has the Colossus lead, and his opponent can make more Archons. Stardust has just had a fantastic economic position this whole map, but the weirdest thing about this game is that both players are still on 2 bases. No one's tried to get a third, no one's even tried to take a third after that last fight, and their main bases are running out. The natural expansions will have resources for a little while longer, but it's very important that he gets this third, and we do have Elfi. He will know when Stardust takes his third.
Yeah, Elfi knows that Stardust wants to take the third base now, so he will delay it just for some seconds with that probe being there. But I guess that Elfi should move out with a probe any second and try to take another base, and if not, he will just go for an all-in, and I don't know, maybe he will try to go for a +2 all-in follow-up from this, because he's not taking that third base.
No, and I don't know if he really can take the third. He's sending out a DT to kind of scout. I feel like the DT is not only just to scout around, but it's also to make sure there's nothing sitting at this third waiting for a probe. And
Yeah.
Elfi, he can take his third now. He'll have a very hard time holding on to it, but he's only down about 30-ish supply, and it is significant. He's still behind in this game, but it's not like he's completely out of it. He's had some time to recover. He's had some time to lick his wounds and get himself together. So he's trying to get a second life on this game.
Yeah, now Stardust also has all of those Archons out together with the Colossus, so now I feel like before maybe Elfi had the better unit composition in a way, but now they are at about the same unit composition, and Stardust is in the lead. In the army supply, he has the third base on the way, so this is all or nothing for Elfi, and he has to make a push work somehow, some way. He needs to pull a miracle basically here.
Yeah, he needs some fantastic positioning. Just he needs perfect army positioning. It's the only way he can do it. But there's ramps everywhere that he has to fight up if he wants to get on this army. His only chance, I think, is attack the third base of Stardust from the left side and just spread out so much that when Stardust goes down the ramp to defend, he just kills him. But Stardust, he's already at that ramp. He's waiting. I feel like if he gets into position first, there's no way that Elfi can attack into him. The rocks are gone. We're going to find out what's about to happen. He's even got probes pulled with this. How often do you see Protoss players pull probes with their attacks?
Yeah, that's not very often. I guess Nama would like this, the Nama SCV train. But yeah, Elfi is really going to do... he's really going to try this, and I don't think it's going to work. The fight is going off. He's dropping in supply faster than Stardust is, so this is not looking too good for our European player. But actually, what happened now, he got a good position. Stardust had some Colossus that were not fighting.
Is Elfi gonna do this?
Elfi took a crazy good fight there. Or actually, I guess it was Stardust who...
Elfi's got a supply lead. He's coming in Zealots. He actually
What is going on?
He picked off all the units. The spread on the Archons was enough. The Immortals couldn't get the shots.
Wow.
For Stardust, Elfi has a supply lead, not as big as it was before, but he's managed to shove back Stardust. Has he done it? I don't think I've ever seen a successful attack from a Protoss, especially when he was so desperate to pull probes like that in this situation. But he's got more stuff. I can't believe this.
I can't believe it either. Probes are coming up here from Stardust. He really wants to kill those Colossus, and
the probes are gonna try to
Colossus?
The probes are trying to get the
God.
Colossus. It's got 4 health left. That Zealot trying to chase it. He won't be able to get it. The mothership core is running from the Archon. He does pick
But
up
look
the
at the
mothership
supply.
core.
It's 37 versus 58. Elvi's gonna do this. How could he make that miracle attack? Wow, just wow. He got the best position possible, I guess. It didn't look too good at the start, but then when Stardust had some Colossus that were not really in the fight, and Elfi managed to get some good hits off before Stardust got his unit spread out in a good way.
I don't believe it. Elfi's managed to pull... Elfi's gonna win this game. He's up 60 supply to 37. The third Nexus is there for Stardust, but it can't do anything. It's not going to bring the game back suddenly. And this observer sees everything. He sees the army positioning. He just needs to make sure that he uses all of his units together. This photon cannon is a bit annoying, but it's 2 Colossi versus 2 Colossi, and he's got the Archon to tank. He's going to press in. Stardust Colossus is on the retreat, very low on health. The Zealot's trying to tank some of the shots using the photon cannon as well, but that Colossus for Elfi hunts them down. Stardust is going to lose... I think it's very close to losing his second Colossus. He doesn't lose it just yet. The Archon is eliminated, though. Elfi's still doubling his supply. This is such a low econ game because those main bases are run out dry. But I think Elfi's, he's got a little bit more, and he also has a lot of gas that he can use to warp in more Archons if he needs them.
Definitely, I don't think there is anything Stardust can do. He's at 12 supply now. How did Elfi pull this off? It's almost like I would like to go back into the replay and check what the hell was going on in that fight, because it was just crazy play from him, and we have a European hope going into the round of 8. Elfi will do it.
Yeah, I don't see any way that he does it. This Colossus still dancing around 8 hit points, just refuses to die, and now even that DT, you know, Elfi's kind of had these thrown around, and I feel like despite the fact that the DTs didn't really do too much for him at the start of this game, Stardust dances the Colossus. He's done here, and that should be it. GG from the Korean Protoss. Elfi advances to the round of 8, and I don't think too